Howdy, howdy! Welcome back. It's my second upload for today, it'll be. And, yeah. I'm just gonna be, talking about, competitive Pokemon Regulation H, because I think it's really cool and fun.
Nightmare card.
So, something fun about it is that they fully, like, anything that could be considered, like, a legendary Pokemon, or just, like, or Paradox Pokemon, are all, like, banned from the format. You can't play them. And I think that's a really good choice for them, because I do think that I really like these like lower power formats because they tend to lead to a lot more interesting stuff. Like I really enjoy the fact and I'm just really glad that the format exists, because like Pokemon like Ursaluna, Blood Moon, and stuff like that are just able to hit it out really well in the format, which is really good. And because like it's interesting because Ursaluna Blood Moon, it was just good in regular formats, let alone the bigger, crazier formats like just like the one before, I forget what it was. Well, I guess it would have just been the letter before H, but I don't want to have to think that hard about it. But it's like now you can use Pokemon like Meowscarada, and I really like that. I really like that it's giving us an opportunity to make these to use these really interesting Pokemon. And I think it's really noble, I think, personally, that now we have access to all these really cool Pokemon that we previously wouldn't have in a restricted format. Because, I mean, like, there's really no reason to use anything else if, like, I mean, because in a restricted format, we end up finding that these like a lot bigger, meaner Pokemon just tend to do a lot better. And like, yeah, in a format where Miraidon is legal, you're never gonna find any Kilowattrel teams, right? Like, because why would you run Kilowattrel when, even though like obviously it's a Tailwind setter, all that, you're still under like that dilemma of why the fuck would I ever run this when I could be running, you know, I could be running Miraidon, like it's this huge big hitter who's just gonna kill everything in sight. Like, why wouldn't I run that? And the answer is, yeah, why the fuck wouldn't you run it? Yeah, you'd be stupid not to. It would be stupid if you want to run an electric type. Why not just run the restricted mon that's electric, or hell, even like Tornadus? Like a good electric type Tailwind setter. It's good in these like lower power formats. And I really value that, because I mean, like, a lot of people are like, oh, I want every single Pokemon to be legal because it's just so good. And it's like, well, I like these like incredibly diverse formats, like because like lower power formats just allow for more better shit to happen. and I love to see that in Pokemon. And like the same goes for like stuff like TCG as well. Obviously less so, because TCG is a very different beast. But like, I mean, there's a reason why some cards just should be banned, because they're a little bit too powerful, right? Like, if there's a card that just gives you a little bit too much for not enough, I mean, then it ends up becoming boring and repetitive, and like everybody's running the same deck, like Nadu and Magic and shit. So I really like these really cool new just these like new formats that there's like, yeah, it's a lower power format. You can be really cool with all of your shit now. And who doesn't like that? Who doesn't like to have these cool low powered formats? Whoa. Oh, okay. Now it works. Anyway, who doesn't like these cool lower power formats where you just get to do cool shit? I think every format should be allowed to be cool. Oh, went the wrong way. Anyway. I like the fact that I am now able to, like, just run the craziest and most stupid Pokemon. And it does kind of help, because, like, I like Pokemon like Chandelure, and Chandelure in any non-restricted format, like, why use Chandelure when you could be using a bastion of other really good fire types? And, like, yet again, it's like, although it doesn't take up a restricted spot, it's still pretty goddamn oppressive, right? It's like, it's still incredibly good. And if you want a fire type attacker, why would you run Chandelure or really any one of these like lower tier Pokemon when you could be running your big guys? And everyone likes running the big guys. But they do definitely lead to less diversity within the actual game itself, which is, I mean, I wouldn't say it's like necessarily like quote-unquote like bad for the game necessarily, but I do think it is incredibly, it can lead to some monotonous, boring shit to happen that generally we don't like happening. Because, like, sometimes, in those, like, heavier formats, what you're tending to find are these, like, huge amount of just, like, 4-turn games where it's just, oh, yep, I used my Miraidon, or I used my Koraidon, or my Terapagos to just absolutely fuck you over, and then it ends within like those like 4 seconds, and then those like 4 turns, and then it doesn't work in that format. It then becomes because like how good can I make the 5 seconds that I got? How good can I make these, like, 5 turns? And it just tends to lead to these, like, hyper offense, which can be fun, and I do think it is fun. It's just, like, not what Pokemon is about. And I think the best part is, like, just not having mons, like, just mons that are just, like, really bad for just the game. Because there are a lot of mons that are just bad for the game, I think. Like, respectfully, I don't want to play as... Like, respectfully, I don't want to play against Urshifu. Because it's like, it's not very fun, right? Urshifu isn't like a fun thing to be playing against. You want to play against, well, just like not Urshifu, not these Pokemon with just like really broken things. Like, because, like, yeah, they're just, like, really... There's just a ton of, like, really broken shit that these, like, bigger Pokemon can do. Like, yet again, like, obviously I mentioned Urshifu, but Urshifu isn't the only Pokemon, obviously. There's Pokemon like... fuck. I'm blanking... I mean, obviously, there's stuff like Ursaluna Blood Moon, but Ursaluna Blood Moon is still legal. But that's fine, because honestly, it's still beatable in the format. Like, there's a lot of things that are just beatable in the format. You can... Like, I was watching this one tournament that Wolfie VGC was just playing in, and one of the things that he was doing was... He was playing a team that was just starter Pokemon, and in a restricted format, you just can't do that. That's just unviable. There's nothing even similar to that you could be doing. Like, there is no starter-only teams because, well, there's fucking Kyogre in the format. And you need a restricted mon or else you're just fucked, kind of. And it's only one restricted Pokemon, too, so it's like, oh yeah, I want to run Primarina? Well, fuck you, because, like, why would you run Primarina when you could run Kyogre? The mon with with, like, it sets up rain for free. It's a water type. If you really want it to be using fairy type moves, you could just do Terra Fairy. Terra Fairy fucking Terra Blast, and boom, you got probably one of, if not the, like, a really, really powerful fairy type move. Not that you're gonna do that, not that you need it, because Kyogre's bulky as hell. So I think that it is really necessary to have these lower power formats. And honestly, like, for, like, something like power creep to exist, I think. Or something like power creep does exist, and thus it's fine if not every single Pokemon is in the next Pokemon game, even if, like, they were really, really good. Like, there's a reason Shedinja is not in this game, and it's just because of terrestrialization. He would dominate every single format, and, like, although maybe Pokemon's first thought isn't the competitive scene, it is a really big scene. And like imagine for a moment, Terra Electric Air Balloon. Terra Electric Air Balloon. God, what is this? Terra Electric Air Balloon Shedinja. Yeah, it'd be busted. It would be the best Pokemon in the entirety of Pokemon, because it can only be hit by, what, like, Toxic? So then a bunch of people will be running Toxic, and it's like, oh, well, that move doesn't hit, well, that means everyone's running Tyranitar, and it's like, well, just get Tyranitar off, or like set up Rain or something like that, so it'll be like a weather war to keep your Shedinja on the fields. And then it would just, I don't know, the game would just be unfun, and I think that it's fine if not every single Pokemon is in a game. Because, like, yeah, sure, it's fun, and, like, obviously, like, gotta catch them all, whatever, but, like, really, we don't need to catch them all. I think it's, like, like, I understand that that's what Pokemon was originally built on, but it's a different game in 2024 than it was in, like, 1998. And that's I think, people are like, oh, Dexit, that was, like, the worst thing to happen to Pokemon. And I'm like, I disagree. I think the worst thing to happen to Pokemon was, like, Game Freak just refusing to care about some of their, to care about, like, the quality of their games. Because nowadays, they don't care about the quality of their games. And that's a huge problem that I think that everyone's facing in this. Is just like, yeah, Game Freak just doesn't really care about hasn't been really caring about the quality of their games, which I hope to be proven not by, like, Pokemon Legends ZA. Because, yeah, I love Pokemon Legends ZA. It's Pokemon Legends ZA seems to be that it's probably going to be a really good game, and everyone is really enjoying the Legends games recently. And although I couldn't really get into Legends Arceus that much, I understood the vision, and I still had fun with it. It just like, wasn't my favorite. Because, yeah, I do tend to like the kind of, I guess it's kind of hard to describe, the competitive nature that it can have, but, like, obviously Legends ZA was never going to be, like, competitive ever. So, yeah. But, honestly, let's, I'm gonna play, one more, and then I'm gonna end this lovely episode. But I think that people should definitely be playing, Pokemon. I think it's a really fun game, and I think it's really interesting. And I don't really care how you engage with it, if you engage with it from a casual perspective. Like, I think it's a really fun game to watch as well. And I think it's nice to realize that, yeah, this game is fucking awesome. There's a reason why it's the biggest media thing in the world. Like, there is something else to Pokemon other than just, like, Pokemon designs and, like, the silly little guys. And I like that. I like the fact that there is something special to this rather than just, well, it's Pokemon, so it's gonna make money, right? Because, yeah, of course, it's Pokemon, it's gonna make money. But how much money it's making It's like, yeah, it makes crazy money. I love Pokemon. I think Pokemon is awesome. Because, like, yeah, it is, like, really hard to get into competitive Pokemon just because there's so much to learn. And it's like, well, that's not necessarily a bad thing. And, like, it kind of is when we want this to be kind of accessible. It's like trying to play League of Legends without really knowing anything about how to play League of Legends. You're just gonna kind of suck, and then you're gonna suck some more. And yeah. But yeah, it does suck that this game isn't, like, fully accessible. Because I want it to be fully accessible. I want it to be this hella accessible game that people want to play a ton of. Because it's so fun once you get the hang of it. And it's like, yeah, I think EVs and IVs are just, like, as much as they, like, allow for, like, cool team comp and stuff like that, I do think that there should be an easier way of doing it rather than EV training and stuff like that. Like, how it's actually done, because how it's done, I think, is really fucking boring. And, like, it's not fun to EV train. And it's like, yeah, I understand they want people to play the game more. We'll just, like, just make there be a shit ton of cool mechanics then, I think, would be my answer to, well, but the game isn't really that fun anymore. And then I would be like, well, then make it fun, right? Then make it cool. Make it so you can do cool shit. But yeah, that'll end my second recording session for today. Stay comfy, eat, sleep, drink, do whatever you need to. Just have fun. And you're awesome. Thank you.